Joining me now, my friends, is a former Florida State Seminole and the newest member of the f.s.u sports team. If you can come on out here, Jason. Yeah, he is James Coleman. First of all, my friend, I see you having the garnet and gold.
Yeah, I want people to understand exactly maybe where my allegiances lie. Got to look good. If you, former Noel Deion Sanders said, if you look good, you play good. You play good, they pay good. So I wanted to make sure I was at my top game when I came on here today.
All right, let's talk about the game. Florida and Michigan, the biggest headline going into this one, how the Gators quarterback would play. Felipe Franks went in. He was 5 of 9, 75 yards. Zaire, he got in. Malik, he didn't do much. Your take on the Gators play today at the quarterback position?
At the quarterback position, it's really a shame when you think about a big-time program that doesn't have a solid quarterback. So what they did was they went the former route with Florida State and what some other schools have done. Get your Notre Dame guy in there. You think with the experience that he would be able to take it to the next level. But he got beat out by Felipe Franks, who came in and just showed why it's hard to have a redshirt freshman be able to play on that kind of stage. So they got a long way to go.
So the question is, if it's not Felipe, or do you stick with Felipe next week, or do you turn it over to Zaire?
I think you got to really go back and look at the film and see who kind of made the offense move. Felipe did some really, really good things early on in the game, but as the momentum of the game started to shift, you kind of saw him start to fold, and a lot of freshman mistakes happened. Like he actually had one good scramble where he got the first down, but he fumbled it when he got hit. So you can't have things like that. It just depends on what McElwain's trying to do. Is he trying to win now, or is he trying to develop for the future? If you're going to try to develop for the future, just let Felipe Franks have some growing pains, and you'll see toward the end of the season, he'll be a little bit better.
No doubt about it. He's got to win. Now, let's talk about the Gators secondary. In that first half, they were absolutely awesome. If it weren't for the Gators defense scoring, they would have got on the board.
Right. They did a lot of good things. Very opportunistic tip passes. Somebody's got to catch those interceptions. Randy Shannon had those boys prepared and ready to go to battle. But if you really look at them as a whole, you saw the middle of that defense was exposed, and that's where you see not having the prominent safety there really hurt them. So, and that's really what Michigan began to attack the middle and just run on them. That's kind of what ended up happening, and they wore down.
Speaking of the Wolverines, the second half, they just played Big Ten football. Smash mouth.
Right. And that's kind of what you come to expect. Big running back, big offensive line, just continue to wear down. That's why it's important when teams from the South play the Big Ten, play other programs like that. You kind of got to get up on them early, use their speed, and make them have to play your game. Florida's defense put them in certain positions to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, they wore down. Jim Harbaugh's a really, really good coach, and he kind of showed it right there.
All right, James Coleman, you keep the seat warm. We'll be talking about your Florida State Seminoles in just a second, with two top 25 teams clashing at Jerry's World. You know, college football fans of two programs steeped in tradition would draw tens of thousands to Big D. Brian Chinaki is in Dallas, and he's here to give you a taste of all the happenings surrounding the Florida and Michigan game. I can tell it's getting louder and louder because you were holding your ear there. So back with me now is former FSU fullback James Coleman. Let's talk about tonight's big showdown, James, between #1 Alabama and FSU. You've been in games or played in games like this before. What's going through the players' minds right now as we speak?
Right now, what you're doing is you're going over the last mental preparations that the coach told you, what step you're supposed to take, what are you supposed to do when this defense comes here, what about if this guy blitzes. You're running all these things in your mind. Also, you're kind of wondering where your mama at and where they're at. You want to see them. Make sure when you score that touchdown, which I got a chance to do, you make sure you point them out. But other than that, the adrenaline's running. You just really want to get past the anthem, get past all the stuff. You want to hit somebody so that you can get those nervous jitters out.
Let's talk about the quarterback, DeAndre Francois. Big expectations for him this season. How important is it for him against this good Alabama team to get off to a good start?
Well, really what you want to do with Alabama is you want to make sure you know your role and you stick to it. Don't take what they give you. Don't try to go for the big play on them, because that's how teams get messed up. Alabama loves to play a short field, and they just play great defense, and then eventually you'll wear down, kind of similar to what we've seen in other games this week, especially we're talking about Big Ten football. So the key is for him to take the check down, and eventually the big play will be there. Don't try to hit the home run on Alabama. This is not the team to try to prove your point with.
Francois was sacked more than 30 times in 2016. How important is it for the Big Uglies to protect him?
Well, it's a couple things that a lot of people see. So most people just see Francois getting hit over and over again, but they don't understand that there's check down and there's read. A person in the NFL who does it better than anybody is Tom Brady. So what we have to do is get Francois to take what they give him, and that helps your offensive line get the momentum, get a little bit of confidence, which is what's going to be needed, because the best part of Alabama historically has been their front seven.
We saw Alyssa Lang feature a very talented guy in the Seminoles secondary and Derwin James just a few seconds ago. They can cause problems for Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yes. Derwin James he's that X factor. When he comes down, he's going to hit you, and he's also got the ability to cover. And as safety, being one of the quarterbacks on the defense, that's what you have to have. But let's not get it twisted. You've got Tavares McFadden. You've got a lot of other top guys on there, and also with 90 in the middle. Like, it's going to be tough for Hurts, but they're going to be well coached. That offensive line hasn't seen as athletic a defensive line like this since Clemson.
All right, you just keep it right here, James. A little later in the show, we're going to ask you the keys to tonight's ball game. Let's go back to the ATL. I think we've got a live shot there. Knowles, Alabama going down right here on ABC 25. If you're not fired up about college football by now, I don't know what's wrong with you. More of our college football kickoff show on ABC 25 after this timeout. Back here inside the studio, I'm rejoined by f.s.u, former fullback for f.s.u, James Coleman. James, we're getting close to the game time. If you're Jimbo Fisher, what's your message to your team?
Do what we're coached to do. Don't get caught up in the moment. This is why you come to Florida State to play in these games, to be drafted and go up against top-level competition. We're going to put the ball in the hands of our quarterback. We're going to make sure that he leads us to victory. We're going to run the ball. Take your time. Don't try to hit the home run. Defensively, I'm going to use my boy Gino's phrase, chill and still. Keep discipline, remain where you're at, and make sure you keep Hurts contained in and make him beat you with his arm. And then cornerbacks, you're all NFL prospects. Do your thing.
Very quickly, final score. Give me your prediction.
35-24 f.s.u.
That high?
Yes, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be very exciting.
All right, man. We'll see you back here tonight right after the game for our GMC post-game show. Good night, everybody.